And Senator Bernie Sanders is calling today for more regulation of AI, saying companies are losing control of the technology. But there's no sign of it slowing down. The same day, Sanders sent a letter to tech companies. Meta released its newest AI tool, Muse Glimmer. And Mark Zuckerberg doubled down on the technology with an essay on superintelligence and democratizing AI development. Joining us live now is Axios technology and policy reporter Maria Curi. Maria, great to be with you. What do we know about this new AI from Meta?
So this is essentially the largest open weights, open source American model on the market, and Meta plans to release more versions of this. And this manifesto that Mark Zuckerberg came out with is really him doubling down on Meta's mission to democratize AI, to make sure that open source models are available for everyone. When you talk to Mark Zuckerberg about what his biggest fears are when it comes to AI, it's not these cyber attacks. It's not AI for the first time being able to create a new virus. It's not AI agents going rogue. All of these different things that have happened in the last few weeks that are alarming lawmakers and policymakers like Sanders. That's not Mark Zuckerberg's biggest concern. His biggest concern is that this tool is going to end up in the hands of very few powerful companies and people and lawmakers, and he wants it to be as widely available as possible.
Okay, I want to lean into this, though. There were two competing letters released today, one from Zuckerberg, one from Senator Bernie Sanders. What specifically did they say, and could these move the needle, so to speak, on AI regulations? They're not the first people to propose some rules regarding AI.
Right. So Mark Zuckerberg's manifesto is really his vision for the future of AI development. He wants all of these models to be open source, meaning that they're available for anyone on the internet that can access them. He wants as little regulation as possible. And he's really saying all of the harms that are associated with AI in people's minds, whether it's job loss, data center impact, it's ultimately okay because AI is going to be good for society and for humanity long term. This letter that Senator Sanders came out with is calling for a pause on AI development. He sent it to Mark Zuckerberg, and he also sent it to the CEOs of OpenAI and Anthropic, calling on these three leaders, all of whom have been at the center of, cybersecurity breaches in the last few weeks, calling on them to pause AI development. And we saw at the end of last week that OpenAI did slow the release of one of its models. But all in all, big picture, these companies are moving forward with very little regulation. And Sanders said, if you don't pause this yourself, Congress will step in and do so.
But it's worth noting that Meta, Facebook, has been behind on AI technology. So is Mark Zuckerberg trying to change the rules to a game that he's losing for his benefit?
That could be it. I think the opposite has also been said about the folks that are very interested in making sure that closed source models are the name of the game and regulatory capture happening on that front. We have seen the White House be a proponent of open source models, and its AI framework that was recently released, they said that they wouldn't touch open source models and they would figure out different ways to regulate the safety risk associated with those. And so this could be Mark Zuckerberg trying to get back in the game and making sure that regulation doesn't touch the kind of technology that he is putting out into the market. But, across the board, regulation is sparse, and Congress is unlikely to act, at least in this Congress.
Can you clarify real quick before you go the difference between open source AI technology and closed source, just to give our viewers some reference points here?
Sure. Open source models are essentially available for the public to build on. They are open source tools that you can code on top of. Closed source models are proprietary tools owned by a company that not everyone can just on the internet develop tools on. And so the concern with open source models is that it could more easily get into the hands of bad actors. But as we have seen with closed source models with Anthropic and OpenAI's, they also run security risks. So neither is, completely safe or foolproof.
Maria Curi, great to be with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.